Yo, what is going on, people? In this video, we're going to go over why starting from zero, absolute scratch, is your biggest blessing. Oftentimes, people think this is what's holding them back, but that is actually one of the worst mindsets you can have at the beginning. And yes, I get it doesn't feel like it at all when you're in the moment, but believe me, by the end of this video, you're going to understand the importance of starting from zero and why it's going to be long-term your biggest benefit you can get. And I know what you're thinking, you've got no money, experience, achievement, and you're unhappy with yourself. How can that be a blessing? Well, the thought process around this is going to determine the path that you take for the rest of your life. This is where a lot of people go wrong, and this is why they don't move forward. So there's two types of mindsets that are going to determine if this is your biggest asset or your biggest liability. Honestly, guys, the difference in your thought process around this question can change your life dramatically. Really, it really can. The two thought processes are winner versus loser. A winner mindset versus a loser mindset. I'm sorry to the fat guy that I've chose on here. It's just a picture off Google. And then the guy in the suit is probably just a paid actor on minimum wage. But let's just pretend this is what all winners look like. So a winner is going to think about starting from zero as an opportunity. Now, why is that an opportunity? Well, it's an opportunity to build a character from scratch exactly how you like. And it's an opportunity to take things that you're perhaps bad at, self-conscious at, or things that you really want to change in your life and change them into a massive positive in your life. But the loser, what you're going to hear from them is, it's unlucky. It's against me. I'm bad at it. I can't do it. It's my dad's fault, my friend's fault. This happened, that happened. I'm not good at that. A winner looks at everything like a skill, and they understand that you can make and build a skill through habits and effort. A loser looks at things like, I'm bad at it, I can never get anywhere. And this is the main thing. Now, this is step one thinking, yeah? So if you're starting from zero, it can take you on two completely different paths. The loser just adopts it and then lives like that. And then winner takes it as something and an opportunity to improve because they're problem aware of the issue, yeah? Here I've put a little collage together. Now, this little collage just proves times in my life where I've been a winner and been a loser. And trust me, I've been both multiple times, yeah? A few of the pictures here, this is me working with eBay on a CEO Cast, which is the biggest business podcast in the UK. And this is just showing what I materialized and what I materialized with business. This here is when I was not in so good shape. I mean, this isn't the worst shape I've been in my life, but you know, when I look like this, I wanted to look like this as a kid, man, big time. I thought about this a lot over the years, yeah. And you know, long term, I put the work in and I got there, yeah. This is me when I lost everything and went back to zero, so back to a loser, yeah. And what I learned from these is, these are all emotional states, yeah. And the thing that saved me and got me out of these and really brought me to each of these is the fact that I was able to look at the goals that I had at the beginning and I was able to use the drive and desire to get there, yeah? And, you know, that's what really got me out of battles in my life, okay? So starting from zero is an opportunity to build exactly the character that you want. Now, the reason why this is so important is because it makes you problem aware. The more problem aware you are, the more aware you are of problems. Now, the juicy benefit of that is the fact that you can take something you're very bad at, whether that be social skills, you can take something that you're very bad at, and because you felt the pain and you're super aware of the problem, you're able to then experience the benefits on the highest side. Just look back to this, right? The reason why I got to this is because I was super problem aware of fitness. So for me, I wanted to get in shape, I wanted to get good at business, yeah? And I wanted to get recognized for it, and I wanted to build my social skills, okay? Now, what you're seeing here is me being super aware of these problems, thinking about them and actively working on them until they came a reality in a higher sense, okay? I went from being super out of shape to then being super in shape. I went from having very poor social skills, not being able to say hello to people, to then doing podcasts. So this is my evidence of all of these things were things that I was super problem aware of, issues that I had in my life, yeah? I wanted to get super good at business because I was broke. I had no money. That's the reason. And because the pain was so strong, I was able to take it as far as I did. And that's the same with everything else in your life. So when you realize that and you start thinking about your problems like that, what you realize is the worst position that you're in or worse, in brackets, shall I say, the most problem aware you are. And that's where you really can build a desire to go and change something. So extreme losses build desire to acquire the solution, yeah? You've just got to think, guys that are born into money, they don't have the drive and hunger because they've already experienced it. Whereas people who are piss poor, well, they've got the drive to make money. Not all the time. Some people just accept it and they go through a lifetime of bad habits and waste their entire life. But some people understand how problem aware they are and they use that burning desire and energy to then turn it into something else. Now, the way I look at life is like a graph, yeah? Graph like this. People who are just coasting through life, don't experience many problems, but don't experience high pieces of pleasure either, they're just going across the line like this, yeah? But then people who have exponential results, what they all feel is a massive negative, which builds the problem to then get to a massive positive. Now, what you usually see on social media is the guys at the positive, yeah? They're at the massive positive. They're at the peak. But what you didn't see was the early years when they had to do this, yeah? And this is the beauty of starting from zero, okay? You feel the pain at the bottom, and that gives you the motivation to get as far away from the pain as possible, yeah? Your natural instinct as a human is to run, yeah? I'm not saying run away from danger as a modern man, yeah? But if you saw a lion back in the year 300, you would run away, yeah? This is the same with pain. You're trying to get as far away from the pain as possible so it can't hurt you. This is the same thing. So when you are super problem aware, you're able to build that desire and achieve at a much higher level on the other side. Because the amount of drive that's needed to create something from nothing is not something that can be replicated. And often that desire comes from pain. It can't come from just living a pleasure life, right? And I'm not talking about just financially here, right? I'm talking about anything that you're bad at. Whether that's, it's like you'll see these guys on Instagram and short form content, yeah, go cold approach girls. A lot of the times, what you find is these guys have been really socially awkward beforehand. They've been super problem aware and they've built on the skill to make it better, right? This is a super important quote that I actually tell myself all the time, and that is, I asked God for strength and he gave me difficulties to make me stronger. Let me say that again. I asked God for strength and he gave me difficulties to make me stronger. That is a good quote right there. The reason why this quote is so powerful is because you then realize, starting from zero, you are getting the negatives of life to build the desire to turn it into a positive. Whether you believe that God's putting them there or not, you can then look at life like every challenge that you're presented with, you're able to overcome that challenge and experience the benefit on the other side. And that's the beautiful thing about this type of mindset, right? The more problems that you get, the more issues that you face, you just bounce back off them because you know that that's something there to make you better. You know that it's there for improvement. You know that you can overcome it. And there is something on the other side. And when you start getting into this mindset, this is when you start developing a real winner mindset because you start looking at problems completely differently. This is the difference between winners and losers, right? Losers look at problems, live in problems. Winners look at solutions, yeah? And that is, if you can take one thing away from this video, yeah, it's this quote right here. Think about this next time you get a problem. Don't get down about a problem and start second guessing yourself. You need to really think about problems as a benefit, yeah? And you're going to have to get used to the feeling of being weak, feeling of being poor, feeling of being inexperienced. Because you're going to do when you're faced with these problems that you perhaps haven't had before, or perhaps are huge problems that anybody would struggle with. These are normal, yeah? These are normal. And it's a challenge there because this is what you have to overcome to get the benefits, right? And when you start looking about problems like that, you're not going to be down about it. You're not going to be like, oh, why am I weak? Why can't I do it? Why am I worse than everybody else? You're going to look at it like, well, this is a normal thing to feel, and I'm up for the challenge. And that's the difference between the loser and the winner mindset right there. And the fact is, the more challenges that you have, the more opportunities that you have to turn them into more than average strengths. And when you adopt this type of mindset, it's going to give you a purpose and a pursuit of strengths that you will feel the benefits from the most. Take this mindset on, start coming and turning into a beast. If you're starting from zero, go get after it, get a plan together, understand that this is where you're meant to be, and really think about the problems that you got in your life and turn them into the best things in your life. Subscribe to the channel, watch the next video right about here. Let's go.